What's up, everybody? Schweezel from Get Better Games here. I'm really excited to bring you the squad game today. I know it's been a minute since I posted anything, but I had just had some technical difficulties. Uh, but like I said, really excited. So let's just get started with it. This game, really, before we even get into it, it's like all communication, teamwork, and a little bit of movement. Um, I pretty much would not have done nearly as good a job in this game, you guys, if my team had not just been talking the whole time. I don't know if you guys ever seen like the Mighty Ducks, but uh, Gordon Bombay at one point has all the Mighty Ducks passing footballs on a hockey rink and talking to each other about passing it, and that's like sort of the point that I'm just trying to make here is that communication is a way bigger tool than a lot of people think that it can be, especially when it comes to gaming. And your guys' squad is not a library by any means, in the words of Coach Bombay. So talk to each other, you guys. So anyway, we're coming down retail row here, and this has been sort of like a high risk, high reward area for me as of late, just because I feel like there's a lot of people landing here. Like you guys can see, there's two teams coming in here. So I'm really coming in with like a do or die mentality. But so I go ahead and right off the bat, I can get a gun and I can hear that someone's in here. I hear him walking around to the left. So I'm ready, and immediately I just pop him right off the bat. Like I've said in some of my other videos, you guys, we are all about that early pressure. You want to keep that early pressure on, so that people don't really have a chance to like get those shields and stuff up off you in the early game. But and as I've also said, sound is huge, which is pretty much how I got that guy. You guys really want to have uh like a headset or headphones. I'm sorry if you guys don't play this game with headphones. There's so many people who are playing with headphones and they're listening to little things like openings and closings of doors and the sound of your footsteps to figure out where you are. And it's such a big thing. It's such a huge advantage. So I really implore you guys to use sound to your advantage. So before I moved out here, I asked my teammates where everybody else was while I was healing up, that we had seen, so that I knew where I could safely move. Um, it's it's really important that when you're like this low of HP, I'm basically like two taps of anything from dead, that you know where you can and can't safely move, and that's also why make sure I have a little bit of early materials, um, is so that I can sort of be a presence for my team and also really try to not get hit at the same time. So, like I said, squad communication. I let them know that I was low HP and they shared some meds with me. That's pretty big. I call out that I hit this guy in the head. Like I said, always communication. And then we really start team firing them, if you guys can see. And then I get the down call. So I actually go to pressure because I hear that guy coming, and I get a little bit of damage on him, I think, but I end up going down, and my boy Cleety right there goes down. We call out that we're about to die, and our buddy Milkman absolutely does not sacrifice his positioning. And look at this, look at this, boom, clutches the double right there, and saves both of us, saves my brother from getting full elimed right there. That was pretty dope. Gets us a little bit of a safe zone to pick us up right here, and really honestly just saves this game. Shout out to Milkman, big props, because without that play we would not have been able to continue on what became this amazing game. So now we know, we saw earlier, you guys, that there was two teams that landed with us here in Retail Row. So we know that we have taken fully one of them, and that there's probably another one over here. And this is what we're kind of talking about while we're looting and healing up right now, is finding this other squad and sort of moving together so that we don't get caught off guard by them. I do want to point out to you guys too that that guy who went to execute Cleety, he really he really probably could have just wiped us completely off the map if he would have helped his team right there. If there's someone who gets knocked, unless you think that they are going to get resurrected, unless you execute them, there's really no reason to execute them over going for their teammates. And you want to use that knockdown to put more pressure on their teammates and press whatever um, person to person advantage you guys have. Like if you knock down one person and all of a sudden you have a one man advantage, you really want to press that. It's so huge, so huge, you guys. So we see this squad, and I thought they see us. They end up seeing us right there. So I give off sort of a little warning shot and actually end up hitting that guy twice for like 100 damage. So I again call this out to my team, and I'm telling them that I need pressure. I see my boy Cleety right there, kind of coming up, and they're letting me know that they're both coming. So as they get here, we really start team firing, and you guys, I cannot tell you, people who have played games like Halo know this to be true. The power of team fire really can't be understated. If you guys are in a like straight up 4v4 fight and everyone else is treating it like they a 1v1 and you and your team are like coordinating who your targets are, the other team is just going to get absolutely destroyed because the guys who are dying are going to have zero time to react to whatever you're doing, which is what happened there. So we know the last guy is in here, and we're sort of just sound whoring him and trying to get him out. I let him know that I'm trying to hide from him, and he actually passes me right there and gets himself pumped in the head. That was a little bit of a mistake by him, but at the same time, it was just one of those odd positioning things where somebody probably mostly gets off your screen, you know. So you can't really fault him too much for that one. He probably didn't even know I was there until he turned around to try to build. So we're headed out of here, and we're gonna keep on gathering materials up here, you guys, through the mid game, because we're really just from all the action that's been happening, we're running low and we're communicating to each other that that's what's happening. We get shot at right here, and if you didn't notice, my immediate reaction right there was to build a little bit of a fort to protect the flank that I was getting shot from. That is so important, you guys. Um, if your first reaction is not to build like that, in my opinion, it really should be, and I think in most good players' opinion, it would be as well. I noticed that that guy is out to our left, but I actually just call him out and leave him for a second. I heard him impulse back there, so I called him out. I just leave him so that I can help my team because he's actually not helping his team until he gets in this position. Once he gets in this position and we're trading shots, I have to call my team to help me out. Um, and because I know that the team pressure is coming and that my team's in a spot where they're going to be able to help me, I try to keep up that pressure and keep the gun on him instead of building. In retrospect, I probably should have built there, but I didn't have to. I wasn't gonna die if I didn't build there. My teammates would have just finished him off because he wasn't positioning in the fight that well. My two teammates right here are getting on top of the house to sort of get the sound and pinpoint where this last guy is. And I really don't want to move up and loot these guys until we know that this guy's taken care of because they have a lot more health than me right now. So what I'm kind of trying to do is just watch so that they don't get taken by surprise and maybe put a little bit of side pressure on. Once it seems to be taking a little bit and this guy seems to be dragging it out, I'm really afraid that we're going to get pressured by yet another squad. So I actually get over here and kind of start to apply a little more pressure by like knocking the walls down and really going a little bit more aggressive and looking for him. I think it actually ends up being all good right here. Yeah, I just take a high position, and then once the shooting starts, I actually kind of back off, especially because right here, I totally almost just killed myself right there. But we all good. They picked it up, and actually, there's medicine stuff right here, which ended up being so perfect for me, you guys. Um, I want to point out that at the beginning of that fight, we were actually in about the middle of the last circle. Knowing how to position in the early and mid game, if you're along the middle of the circle, you can be sort of you have a lot more exposure, right, you guys? Because if you think of the storm as like a putting your back to a wall, that's a flank that you're covering. that you can really use to your advantage. So you guys want to make sure that there aren't players coming out of the middle, and if you're in the middle, you really want to either pay attention or sort of possibly even leave and play along the outskirts. Um, Positioning in a game like this can really just straight up win you the game. We call out this guy because we see that he's like separated from his team, and we're just like, what are you doing? Now these guys make a huge mistake, you guys. They should know that we're waiting for them to come over here, and they make the mistake of pressing up on us anyway. And I see this tree shaking over here in the actual game, and so I knew that other guy was over there. And I pick up this guy with the sniper just because these guys end up trying to save each other right here. They all end up going down. You guys really have to know in this game, you only get one life, so you have to know when to cut and run. Because if you don't, you're just gonna end up doing what these guys did. They all had a decent amount of health and probably like decent gear and mats, and we just picked them off because they didn't understand that like their teammate was gonna die anyway. Um, they thought they could get them up, but we had every advantage, and they had no real recon going into there. So that wasn't too smart of a positioning decision by them, but oh well. They can just hop into the next game. We're gonna keep going in the action. And then right here, all we're doing is we're trying to communicate what's happening. We are scouting out for any teams coming this way because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have pretty much moved like 100 meters from where we landed. We really haven't been able to move very far without getting shot. So we're just making sure that there's no loot that we missed right here because we've done so much fighting. We're also making sure that no one is sneaking up behind us or anything using our ramp star advantage, getting a positioning using our own structures. And I haven't had like full health in a while, so I'm just trying to make sure we have loot. Now, if you guys look at my mini map right now, my teammates find this other team, and this is actually the one time that even though they're communicating with me, I do a really poor job of listening and make a big time positioning mistake. Um, but right here, I actually call out to them. I let them know, hey, you guys, I fucked up. I'm in bad position. Whatever fight you guys are taking, can you try to just stall it out so that I can get there and we can play it safe? And they actually end up getting a couple knocks here, which is awesome. But they do know that all they have to do here, if they end up in a bad situation, is let me build. That looks like it went right through the guy's kneecap. A little bit salty about that. But all they have to do if they get themselves in a sticky situation is build and give me a couple seconds to get in on them. It's already happened in these late guys because their early teammate that was right here was calling my teammates out. They didn't know I was here. This is another positioning thing, you guys. When you guys are joining a fight late like this or anything, you want to really use the element of surprise and use the flank. If I tried to take a different positioning than my two teammates over there, so that I would be shooting these people from a different direction, and I also came from a spot and was shooting in the beginning from a spot where they had no clue where I was. It actually really looks like for almost the entire time they didn't know where I was, and I call out to my teammates right here that we get a knock because even though it's far away, you guys, yet again we start putting this pressure on them. Once that guy is knocked, we know that that's probably the second teammate of theirs that we've knocked over. So we really want to put the pressure on these guys and just take them off the map. It's really dwindling down, and we've been fighting this whole time. We're not letting anyone take this game from us at this point. We put in too much work. So as you guys can see, they sort of get pincered, which is what happens if you get caught in the middle of the circle and delay a fight too long. Like I was saying, they just were in a really bad positioning to even take that fight against us. Knowing when to engage, guys, knowing when to engage and disengage your fights, or if you should even engage fights at all, is really huge in these games. And if anyone just tells you you're like bad because you don't take fights, it's absolutely not true. Once again, I'm trying to use sort of the element of surprise right here, get the impulse rush on him and get him with a really good flank. I let my teammates know that I hit this guy and that he is pretty much shieldless back there and real weak. he ends up getting pressured by my fire as well as fire from the other side. And then I don't normally do this, everybody, but I executed that guy because I was afraid that I was going to lose the line of sight on him, and that he was going to get take brought up. But I keep on checking out to my right as well because we really have been in this long sort of evolving fight for a while. So we want to make sure that nobody is sneaking up and flanking us. And then right here, this guy actually I think got one of his teammates up is what just happened. It ends up not really being a huge deal. I don't know what these guys were doing, but they this team like never saw me. Like, and even at the end, I wasn't even particularly trying to move in like any sort of stealthy way. I guess it's just how it played out, but it was really weird that they just straight up never saw me. So right here, we're getting into the late game a little bit. The move I'm gonna pull right here is I'm not at 100 HP, and I know that there's a med kit, but I didn't know what other loot there was out here. So I go out to grab the med kit and switch out for any other loot that I thought might still be out there, and then I just apply the med kit. And this whole team this whole time, you guys, I am absolutely letting my team know this is what I'm doing. I'm making a move out into the field, out into the storm field. Let me build up and get some HP, and do what I got to do with my inventory and reloading. And at the same time, we just got into the circle at the last second, and we don't really know where everybody is, but we can tell that they're not on that big hill. And that big hill is important. If you guys see this last one here, is what I'm talking about in the middle. And that huge hill is important because it's really the only high ground left here. So you know that a good team is going to try to make a break for this, and the fact that we don't see anybody up there means the other teams are probably moving through. So we're trying to catch someone moving. We end up seeing this building happen right here, and this is what really launches off the late game fighting. Again, it's a dangerous position, so we're sort of waiting to see. We know there's more than just those guys. We are counting up, and we know that there's 5 people left besides us in the game because we're running with a 3-man squad right now. So we're really just trying to get the. That was a terrible shot by me, by the way, and the only reason I'm peeking this long is because these guys, for some reason, just don't seem to see me at all. And I know that the other team have to be downhill of me. Like down there. I know they probably have to be down there, even though at this point I don't think I see them. So I try to build a little bit right here, reinforce some of this rocket shit. My bro right there ends up taking a rocket to the face. Actually felt like a giant dick hole that I didn't stop that in real time. I was like, I'm sorry. We got to win this one for Cleety. Uh, so he gets hit, but he actually had. I remember him saying that he had a ton of shit. That was like a good few hundred assault rifle bullets I pick up. So right here, and he actually had a lot of rocket ammo too. So right here, I just start spamming the rockets that I picked up because we know that there's only 2 people up there. They've been fucking around up there really for so long. Pardon my French, guys. That we know there's only 2 guys, and that these other guys are going to be creating pressure. We start seeing some bullets and stuff coming in from off the side here, and notice that the other teams are sort of firing with us. And since this team has the best positioning, there's no reason for all of us not to just be shooting at these guys, because while we're all trying to work our way in on the high ground, we don't really want to fuck with each other. See, these guys just I was pissed off right there because those guys actually they uh they nullified the truce. I was mad. I was like, come on, you guys. I just wanted to fight these guys because honestly, if we all slaughtered each other on the ground, these guys were just gonna win. They had the best positioning in the game, and we all had like just kind of decent weapons, nothing super special. If you guys are looking at what's being thrown around, so like nobody was expecting that. Or I Yeah, nobody was should be expecting to get hit in the side like that necessarily, because the smart play is to for these guys on top of the hill. but whatever. I built and it's all right. Like I said, you guys, instant communication and pressure. I let my boy know right when we knock that guy and we start team shooting at this guy, and he loses his positioning on the hill. He's trying to go for his buddy, just like those other dudes. When, like we said, he really should be able. Or his objective should have been to keep his positioning and just win this game out himself. He had the best position and he gave it up right there to try to save his bud. In my opinion, you're in situations like this where it's really late game, you're not going to get your teammate up, and we just end up getting him in a position where he basically built himself in, so he can just team fire at one tile and spam him for the kill. Now we don't know if these last guys are 1-1 or two guys together or whatever. I'm sorry, 3-2 or 1-1 or whatever. Right here, we guess that they're the same because they're all firing at us until they start firing at this other guy. So now we kind of know that it's a 2v1. So we start pressuring them because they're making positioning mistakes. This guy makes the huge mistake of letting the storm catch up with him, and he actually can only go one way. He can either come towards me, which is really not going to get him very far, or he can go to the right, which is, again, really not going to get him very far. He decides to go to the right. I realize he's going to go to the right, mop him up really quick. My teammate starts calling this guy out, moving over to the left of the mountain, so I move over here. And I'm really just waiting for this guy to show himself. I know he's not gonna have the quickness to take us both out, and I'm gonna build in a way here so that I'm really not gonna be able to get fired on by this dude very easily. So when I hear that he's right there, I don't want to approach him from the same angle as my teammate. It's not a very smart decision. So I let my buddy know that I'm going for a flank, and I tell him, "Hey, I have a way to win this game. Just buy me some time. We're gonna go for the guaranteed win right here." So I actually get in under this dude, and I put a trap in. And as you guys are about to see, I just look up, knock everything off from under him. He does not even know that I'm there until I knock that out, and bam, my trap gets him for the win. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. We finished with 10 and 11 eliminations. My buddy Brian and me, with my brother Cleety in there, grabbing the deuce, grabbing the 2, and helping us out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have stuck with me this far, I'm Schweezel for Get Better Games. Again, we are the No BS channel where we teach you guys a learning mindset to get better at whatever game you want to play. My specialization being Fortnite. I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching. I had so much fun playing and talking about this game with you guys. Tune in next time. Until then, peace out.